Attu is part of the Aleutian Islands, and it is the westernmost point of the US in the state of Alaska. As this video pans to the left, you see that red square starting to appear. That is where the island of Attu is located in comparison to the mainland of Alaska. See how far out that is? Well, today I'm going to talk about events that happened on the island of Attu 80 years ago. The island of Attu has been uninhabited since the year 2010, but even when it was inhabited, there were never too many people on the island. But the island of Attu, 80 years ago, was the site of the only World War II land battle fought in the United States. On June 7th, 1942, the 301st Independent Infantry Battalion of the Japanese Northern Army landed on the island. With a population of 45 natives and 2 Americans from the mainland living there, a man named Charles Foster Jones from St. Paris, Ohio, and his wife Etta. 42 natives survived the invasion and were taken into Japanese prison camps. 21 died while imprisoned, while Mr. Jones was murdered by the Japanese almost immediately after the invasion. In May 1943, U.S. troops piled into transport ships to expel the invaders from Attu. This was the first time anyone had invaded the U.S. mainland since the British in the War of 1812. On May 11th, 1943, 12,500 U.S. soldiers landed on the northern and southern ends of the island. The weather alone was responsible for more casualties than the enemy fire. Many suffered from frostbites in the cold and wet environment. Also, a lot of times sudden, blinding fog would appear, and people had to move to keep warm. If they stopped, they would literally freeze to death. As the battle went on, many men started to suffer from the weather. The U.S. just did not have the equipment to protect their troops from this environment. Not only that, but on both sides, hunger started to strike as many men started to starve. On May 28th, American forces occupied the high ground, controlling 3 critical hills. The Japanese were pushed to the sea, and the U.S. planned to bombard them the next morning once and for all. But the Japanese would not surrender. To the Japanese, surrender was dishonor, and they would rather commit suicide trying to win this battle than to surrender. At 3 a.m. on May 29th, the Japanese started their counterattack, trying to overpower the U.S. at one of the 3 hills. The battle went on throughout the day, but ultimately the Americans won. On May 30th, 28 Japanese of the 1,400 the day before were still alive. The rest were either killed in battle or committed suicide. The battle was over. When the Americans arrived at a Japanese hospital, they realized the doctors had killed all the patients. Many of the Japanese killed themselves by holding grenades to their chests. The U.S. buried 2,351 Japanese in a mass grave on the island, and many more are believed to have been buried in the hills. The Americans lost 549 men in the battle. Attu Island became a National Historical Site in 1985. People who visit often say it has a very eerie feeling because all you hear is the sound of the birds. To think there was once a massive battle on this island. Many people have no idea about this battle, and I hope you guys learned something. Thanks for watching.